Thank you so much for having me. Yes, Connie, I was a member. I think I've missed so many meetings that now I'm officially considered a black badger. But I did notice an obscure provision in the bylaws that says if you present once every 3 years, that counts for all the meetings. I think I saw that. Well, I really appreciate the opportunity to come speak with you today. And I'm going to drive this guy crazy because I can't stand still. So you're going to be on your toes. This is just like being in a classroom. Everybody's in the back, fearful that they're going to be called on and not know the answer to something. So I promise you I won't call on you to ask any questions. When I'm out in the community doing what I do, I'm always asked really 3 questions. First, what's going on with the students? You guys have any new endeavors you're working on? Secondly, what about all these buildings I see going up and all this construction that's going over there? Can you give me an update on the construction? Yeah. And then, what kind of signature programs has West Valley run off in the last few years? So I'm not going to ask you for money today, although I have to say that Dan's entree provided a nice one. What was that substance when you give that makes you feel better?
Oxytocin.
Oxytocin. So if you'd like to indulge in oxytocin, feel free to talk to me afterward about any potential partnerships with the college. First question I'm always asked. You serve the community. West Valley is primarily devoted to serving students from Los Gatos and Saratoga high schools, but most people don't know that over the last 3 years, Los Gatos High School has been our #1 feeder district, or feeder college. If you look at that heat map, you'll see that over the last 3 years, the overwhelming number of students are coming from right in our area. Now, what's interesting about this is that given the demographics of this area, how difficult it is to buy a home, we feel that we've already ridden the wave of 18 to 25-year-old students in this area. So we are in the midst of really reprioritizing our curriculum and trying to do new things with regard to online education, with regard to non-credit, and with regard to helping small businesses develop. But we are your community college, and the overwhelming number of students that attend West Valley come within about a 3 wood, depending on how well you hit them, from the college front door. Our focus has been on student success. I don't want to get too deep into this because I know you guys want to ask about the buildings and the bonds and all those other things, but this is what we do. And West Valley has the most associate degrees for transfer of any community college in Northern California, which means if you come to West Valley College and you follow for 2 years the prescribed number of courses, you're guaranteed admission to the CSU. We are really focusing on that as a way to eliminate the logjam that exists in the CSU and the UCs. Right now, it's extremely difficult for students to get into those programs right out of high school, even if they've done amazingly well, just because it's a numbers game. Because the community colleges make the first slice of admissions to those, we've tried to ramp that up. Last year alone, we transferred 552 students to San Jose State. That's enormous. We continue to be one of the leaders with regard to UC transfer as well, and we are soon going to be announcing new transfer agreements with UC Berkeley and UCLA. UCLA right now does not offer a transfer agreement with any other community college in the country. We will be the first. So what we're trying to do is eliminate those barriers to student success, create a truer, cleaner pipeline for students coming from our local high schools to transfer into the 4-year programs. And you may have heard that we've offered a very unique program the last 2 years. This is also a signature program that nobody else has. If you go to high school within our service area, we're offering you free tuition for the first 2 semesters at West Valley College, inclusive of parking and books. And for students that have food instability, and believe it or not, there are a lot of them, even in this area, we have partnered with the West Valley Community Services. You've probably seen the food bank on campus. We serve 300 students every time that's on campus. When I ask around to my colleagues who are also starting what are called promise programs, tuition remission programs for students, the numbers that they tell me are, we're really excited. The San Jose City College president told me, we're really excited. We have 29 students enrolled in the program. We have 575 students right now that are enrolled in our program that are getting free tuition, free books. My goal is that in the next 4 years that we can offer that to 2,500 students that come from our local service area. We are one of the 3 community colleges that's partnering with the San Jose Mayor's office. He's partnering with a lot of big business and industry to provide a promise program for everybody in San Jose. We were lucky enough to share with him our blueprint for the program, and thus he included us in it. Here's the food pantry that I mentioned. This has been one of the #1 serving food pantries in the entire Bay Area. I mentioned 300 students. They tell me about 200 community members in addition to that use that every time it's on campus. We received also a $2 million grant from the state to develop our Strong Workforce program. It's exclusively devoted to helping small business. It may be something that many of you are interested in terms of providing students with direct connections to employers, internships, a whole host of service that's designed to provide students jobs right when they graduate. We've also got some really unique partnerships. If you decide you want to enroll in the University of Hawaii system and you come from West Valley College, you will pay California tuition, California room and board. We're the only community college that has that arrangement. We also have an arrangement with Anglo-American University in Prague where you can complete a 3.5-year bachelor's degree by spending 1 year at West Valley College and transferring there. And the cost is the same price as if you stayed at West Valley College the whole time. We're trying to dramatically enhance services that students from our service area aspire to and have the academic capacity to achieve. These aren't typical programs that you see at most community colleges, but because our students come to us so well prepared from the local high schools, so ready to achieve academically, we can try to do things that you typically only see at the university level. This year you heard Renee, she was globetrotting all summer, I didn't get to see her. But we sent 75 faculty and students all over the globe as part of our study abroad program. And when the new students come back this year, we're going to tell them that we have another 75 spots for them next year. I'd like to see, like I said, the overwhelming majority of students come to West Valley, not have to pay any tuition, and then have an opportunity to do a study abroad program in their first 2 years. One of the exciting programs that we're working on right now that you might have heard about is the drone technology program that we offer. So we are, again, one of only 2 schools in the Bay Area that offers a drone technology program. This is in terms of programming the drones, repairing the drones, and operating the drones. Here's some footage of the campus that was taken by one of our students in our drone technology program. We opened up 4 sections and they filled in 10 minutes. So this is something that I think the students are voting with their feet, high school students especially. This is something that's right up their alley. How many of you have been on the campus lately? I know. So now I know who didn't attend the art show? Gotcha. We have 7 major construction projects going on right now. I should have been an architect because I tell you what, I spend more time looking at blueprints, examining diagrams, and thinking about how we're going to reimagine the college than I do anything else. What an exciting time to essentially remake the entire college. We're also one of 3 community colleges in the state that has a national sponsorship agreement with Adidas. All of our sports teams this year are going to have equipment and apparel provided by Adidas. Adidas is hoping to use West Valley College to be the hub of their West Coast soccer operations. They want to run an academy with their youth teams up to age 18 out of West Valley. One of the projects that we're working on right now is turfing what used to be our football field. If anybody has any connections with community members and they may help me get some lights that won't disturb any of the neighbors, we could dramatically enhance service to youth in the community. We're not planning on using that facility for our sports teams, just like our tennis courts. We just spent almost $1 million refinishing, relighting all of our tennis courts. We don't have a tennis team. We do that because we want the community members to be on campus. We want you to be here and be part of it. Same reason we do our farmers market, the same reason all of our water fountains that we just put on campus have dog bowls on them. Students don't bring dogs to class typically. We want members of the community to be on campus on the weekends utilizing our services. So, construction. You may have heard that we opened at the beginning of the year the Silver School of Art and Design. We're right now progressing on a pact that will make us the first nationally accredited School of Art and Design at a community college in the country. So we hired a dean, his name is Andrew Chandler. He's come on, he's done amazing things. We received an enormous naming gift from Bill and Leila Silker. Bill was a founding trustee. And he was the one that when they had the decision, do we want to make West Valley College a golf course or a college, he decided to make it a college, much to the chagrin, I'm sure, of many. But that was our first building. We also are right in the final stages. We laid the last piece of iron on the Kwame Family Planetarium. Our plan, again, with the planetarium is to have a dramatically enhanced curriculum for the middle school right across the street and for the local elementary schools. Our idea, like with all of our sports camps, is that if we can bring elementary and middle school students to the college where they can become accustomed to what it feels and appreciate really the natural beauty of the campus at a young age, that will help us attract them later on as college students. You've probably asked, or at least seen, these guys playing in the dirt for the last 6 months. My office is directly across from this, I think mess is the technical term that architects use. This is going to be our new Student Services Center. This is going to be the biggest flagship building on our campus. It's going to face outward to the community, right on the main drag. This will encompass all of the programs that serve students, from financial aid, from counseling, health center, disabled students, all in one shop. As it sits right now, we have a lot of modular buildings on campus, and I hate them, and I can't wait to bulldoze all of them and create green space as soon as this building opens. We also have our School of Professional Studies that's under construction at the same time. We have a lot of balls in the air trying to move classes around and keep students where they need to go. That is also on the front of campus. The Science Garden, when I first came on board, one of the questions I asked is, what is with the dirt mound in front of the science building? And I was told that in our last bond, we somehow forgot to include landscaping in there. So we came up with a clever idea to decorate that, and that is that we had received a gift from some local donors who walk their dog on campus every day, and I think they were tired of walking through the dirt, so they are going to partner with us on a science garden that's going to wrap all the way around the building and be a timeline of the universe. So if you're on campus on the weekends, you'll be able to follow this pathway all along Vasona Creek. You'll be able to take in the newly refurbished Vasona Creek, experience the timeline of the universe. Again, we're just trying to do everything we can to open our arms to the community and make the campus more attractive. I talked about Vasona Creek. I'm asked about this probably more than anything on the campus. We received a $2.5 million grant from the Water District to completely redo Vasona Creek. You know, we had piles of concrete, overgrown trees. It was an absolute mess. And now they've taken all the trees out, they've planted native habitat, and in the winter when it rains, I could kayak down this. In fact, I tried because I thought it would make a great photo op, but I didn't get very far. But again, we're the largest contiguous owner of Vasona Creek, and it's our duty as a custodian to protect that for the community, and we want all of you to come out and enjoy the beauty. The athletics department is another opportunity for us to develop the facilities of the campus. All of our athletic programs have gotten complete overhauls. We've hired full-time coaches for our teams. We now have an Adidas sponsorship for all of their apparel, and we're redoing what we like to call well-loved sports complexes. Many of these complexes were built in the early 70s and they weren't touched since. It's a great opportunity for us to achieve some rental revenue, but it's also a wonderful opportunity for students all across the community to come utilize our facilities. So in the course of the next 6 months, we're going to be completely reconfiguring our soccer, our baseball, softball, and football fields, putting down AstroTurf, transitioning the lighting, trying to make it available to everybody in the community to use, but also to benefit our sports teams. A couple other ideas. For example, here are the new scoreboards that we put up. We tried to borrow a cue from AT&T Park in San Francisco. And in fact, the designer that we just hired, the architect, to do our field renovations was one of the primary architects of AT&T. We hosted the state championship at our Viking volleyball complex, which is new. This was completely done with rental revenue. And why I put this up there and what I love about it so much is we spend zero maintenance on this. You know who keeps this facility up for us? Community members. Every weekend, they're there sweeping, brushing. They use this more than our volleyball teams do. It's another opportunity again for us to enjoy that partnership with the community. But the two other projects that I think will be most interesting to people in this group is that our plan is to erect a wellness center on campus. If any of you have heard, College of San Mateo has a very similar wellness center at their campus, and they sell memberships to the community to utilize. We have a very well-loved weight room, and it needs a dramatic overhaul. So our plan is to put in a wellness center on the footprint of our existing PE program that will include everything from Pilates to an indoor pool, use of the outdoor pool, of course offices, team rooms, and a nutrition center for all of our student athletes too. But as we get further down the road, I'd love some partnership from members of the community to talk about how we could make this really, truly a public-community partnership that we could share. Also, have any of you been to the back part of our campus by our soccer field? You're probably not back there, but there's an abandoned field that really isn't being used. And what we've decided to do with that is make this an outdoor golf facility that is going to have driving range, is going to have an indoor chip and putt range, and then also some greens that you can practice on that we will make open to the public. We don't have a golf team either. We have a lot of students who sign up and take golf classes, but we're erecting this in a place that is easily accessible by the public with direct parking, with the hopes that, again, members of the community will come, utilize our wellness center, stop in at the farmer's market, chip a few golf balls, and then maybe take some courses or encourage their loved ones to do so as well. So we expect that this will be sometime in the latter part of next year. We've also rebranded all of our naming, all of our signage. You've probably gone around campus and seen that. We've tried to include much more of a campus-style feel. We're blessed with a very beautiful campus, but students have felt that it's a little sterile at times, so we've tried to jazz it up with more signage, more reference to our athletic facilities, other things. So I think I've covered for you what's going on with the construction, what are the new programs that we have for students, and where our students are come from. But I would be more than delighted to talk to you about any other facet of what's going on at West Valley College. He's a brave man who asks the first question.
I had a question on how does West Valley College cooperate with Mission College? Because you're both under the same umbrella.
The question was, how does West Valley College collaborate with Mission College? Mission College is our sister college in Santa Clara. The answer is pretty frequently. We offer different courses. We're primarily a transfer institution. The majority of the students that come to West Valley are seeking to get their general ed and then transfer to a four-year. Mission has much more of a career focus. They tend to offer a lot more two-year certificates in programs that allow students to get jobs right after they graduate. We have some overlap, but our primary focus is transfer. So, yes, Phil.
I've heard there's a push for making community colleges four-year colleges. I don't know what you know about that. And what percent of your students graduate in 2 years?
52% of our students graduate in 2 years that have set out to graduate in 2 years, but the overwhelming number of community college students go part-time because they work or have other family commitments, so they're not really counted in that. The students who are on the associate degree for transfer track that I talked to you about with the CSU, they're the ones that are going above 50%. On the 4 years, there are 12 community colleges right now offering 4-year certificates. The way the legislation came out, you had to offer it in a program that wasn't offered by a CSU within 100 miles of you. Because we have San Jose State that offers just about everything, there were no programs that we could offer. My hunch is that that's going to be a pilot program and that they're really trying to track how those 12 programs work, and then you're going to see it open up to offer things in biology, English, and math. And when they do, we're well suited to pounce on that. We've got curriculum instructors that are able to handle that load. All right, one more, and then Chuck, you're next.
With this free tuition program, how is that underwritten?
So we received a grant from the state for $250,000, or excuse me, for $750,000. We also are using some rental revenue that we get from our land corporation. For those that you don't know, West Valley Mission District owns the area that is the Mercado in Santa Clara. believe there's a Walmart there are theaters there. We receive about $7 million annually in rental revenue. So we're kind of putting that back into the community, at least at West Valley, to provide a tuition assistance program, which is, again, makes us very unique. Other districts don't have that type of leverage. So, Chuck.
Brenda, thanks for the 4-year questions. That was one of mine. The other one was I was wondering how your neighbors adjacent to you are engaging with you on the enhancement of sports fields and things. I know there's been some contention in the past.
I would say that lately they've been terrific.
That's awesome.
We've had a wonderful relationship. I think the key is communication. We're not building any football stadiums. We're not erecting any monstrosities. We're trying to build things on the current footprint and at a smaller scale, and I think that has calmed down some of the concerns that may have existed in prior years that there was going to be a 80,000 capacity stadium across the street. That won't ever happen. Yes?
Perhaps you can talk about the middle college program.
Middle college?
Yeah, the one we had a partnership with you.
Yes. Well, both Campbell High School and Saratoga High School participate in our middle college program. It's a program that allows high school students who meet certain academic requirements to take courses for college credit at West Valley. I'm asked that question more often than just about anything.
Actually, it's not just Saratoga, it's Los Gatos Saratoga High School District. So Los Gatos High School students also.
She's my fact checker, folks. So if anybody has any other questions about this, feel free to ask her after this. But no, so we serve about 250 students total.
It's a wonderful.
And I'm always asked, when are you going to expand that? And my answer is, we're going to expand it as soon as we're done constructing these 8 buildings, because right now I don't even have a broom closet to put anybody in. But as soon, the main building is going to be 48,000 square feet. It will give us plenty of space to run some new programs like that as well.
2 questions, Brad. First of all, would you say that Renee is the finest instructor at West Valley?
Where's my money?
No, I think it's safe to say Renee's in the bottom quartile. One thing that I do, which my wife tells me I shouldn't do, but I read every tenured faculty member's evaluation every year. Not because I can influence it, but because I want to know what the students are saying. And I want to know if there are things, usually along the resource front, that we can contribute to departments to enhance the student experience, that I see that, and I see it in an unvarnished way. Because when you start talking about performance appraisals, everybody gets nervous that that's going to affect their career trajectory. And one thing I can say with complete candor is Renee has among the highest student evaluations of any faculty member at West Valley. She's beloved. That's exactly why I can get away with teasing her about it, because she knows it isn't true.
But the second part was,
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about how, is the California community college system unique? Do other states offer this great opportunity for tuition-free college or nearly tuition-free?
It depends. For example, Georgia offers free tuition for its community college students. The California system does not. It's hit or miss. We have cobbled together local resources and grant funds in order to be able to fund our program. But the overwhelming majority of schools are not there yet. We're really setting the pace in terms of that endeavor. You've heard things talked about in Washington and in Sacramento about trying to do that. I don't know how it will be funded under the current model. I think using the revenue that the local districts get is the best way in the short term to make that happen.
So what will it cost the average student coming out of Saratoga or Los Gatos High to go to West Valley? What kind of costs are involved?
About $1,200 a semester.
Wow.
Right. The thing that I'm always struck by is the cost of books. I see, I'll get you in a second. Books, are oftentimes more expensive than the tuition. Right. So when last year we offered just the tuition program, people said, that's great, we love it, but my books are $600. So with this year we put together a different funding model so that it would allow us to cover books for students. So.
Is the registration process from out-of-district kids the same as Saratoga, Los Gatos kids?
The kids who are in this district get first priority. If they don't utilize all those seats, then we extend it into San Jose. And interestingly enough, last year we didn't use all the seats. We had 200 spots that were funded that weren't used. So we opened that up to students in San Jose. Technically, our district the boundary lines cut into a portion of San Jose. So we're allowed to do that, yes.
In the last couple of years, education has embraced what's called a flipped classroom, where a lot of content, with all the abilities we have now to put content online, the students, and you can expand your classroom to read the content. Rather than come in and have a lecture, a sage on the stage, they call it, they come and talk. And is that a better system, do you think, and have you embraced it?
We've embraced it to the extent that about 15% of our classes utilize that model and utilize some form of online teaching. I think it's fair to say that it's highly dependent on the student's needs and objectives. Every student learns differently. Our goal is to have the full range of options that they can choose from. But I do think that it's fair to say that online education is only going to expand. There are many students who are looking to take an online-only program, and we're trying to ramp that up. Interestingly enough, faculty really prefer to be in front of the class. They enjoy having students in seats in front of them more than they like the online courses. And most students say the online courses are a lot harder. To each his own. Yes?
Do you have a program where the students can sell their books back to school and then buy them back as used books?
Yes, we do. We also have a program where students can donate cans of food and receive free books. It's a partnership we have with the Sutton Harvest Food Bank, and it's one that we've really, Books for Food, we've really tried to grow that program. So.
I just want to say thanks to West Valley College. I was able to get into Cal Poly after doing my 2 years at West Valley in 76, probably before you were born.
Not quite. I was born in 53, but still. Not teasing, but yes.
So what kind of programs West Valley College offer for adults like us? We are not young, but we are still learners.
Well, the state a few years ago cracked down on our ability to offer courses that adults repeat. And it devastated colleges, especially in the PE area across the state, because people would typically enroll in a yoga or tennis or Pilates class semester after semester after semester, and they said, you can't do that anymore. That's artificially inflating your enrollment numbers. So we've tried to expand the breadth of the courses that we offer, particularly for older adults in that area, which you can still only take 11 months. But there are so many that I can't even begin to describe. We've got everything from interior design to Pilates to engineering to drone technology to poetry. You name it, it's there. We have 80-some different certificates and majors that you can take, and dozens more than that, discrete classes. So, I'm sorry, there's so many hands going up. I feel so popular, but I'll start with go for it.
Several years ago, more than several, I was very much involved with the Women's Center at West Valley College that was disadvantaged women who could take classes at West Valley College at a nominal fee. And they had a daycare center that I was kind of involved with at that particular time.
She's the first person that I've ever heard set her question to music.
They asked me, what kind of music I wanted to listen to. My daughter, and it's harping me to death. But I knew it was going to stop.
To answer your question, we don't have a dedicated women's center program anymore. We have a dedicated veterans center. We have dedicated programs for homeless, dedicated programs for disabled students. But really, due to student interest, we went in other directions.
It was very successful with that.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it. It's just times have changed and students have gone in other directions. Yes.
Across the nation, there's been a strong need for the trade programs to come back. Between either West Valley or Mission, are you focusing in those areas?
Like I said earlier, Mission has a much stronger focus. Mission just developed 2 major partnerships with trade unions in San Mateo and San Benito County to really develop that. We have to respond more to trends based on our student demographic and enrollment, and while we have some need for that, the reality is the majority of students who come from our service area are interested in transfer. So mission is really handling the lion's share of that, but it's there and it's emerging.
I think we got time for maybe one more.
That was kind of my question too, but is that a growing trend?
Amongst community colleges or amongst students in general?
Well, I think one follows the other, doesn't it?
Well, I would say this. Again, I think it depends on the student population that you serve. The students that typically come from our area are seeking different things. We still offer a number of career and certificate programs, 18 of them to be exact, but they represent a much smaller portion of our enrollment.
Well, I think we're running out of time to end, but do you want to stick around for a minute or two, Brad, and
Sure.
answer any other questions that might come up? Sure. Okay, first of all, I want to thank you very much for your talk. It was very enlightening. To broaden your mind, to educate you about wine, you'll enjoy this Saratoga Cuvée by one of our members, locally here with Saratoga grapes. And ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you very much for coming today. Who's got a better nut? Nobody. Meeting adjourned. See you next week.
Thank you, everybody.